Sergio Studios.
Hey, this is Sergio Dominguez with another audio commentary for all 3 Sketchpad Mayhem videos. Alright, so this all started back in 2014 when I was in the last couple months of college. I realized I love animation, but I also love animation mixed with live action videos. And for a long time, I've tried to find a way to do that by myself. But I never really figured it out, and I didn't have the technology or tools at the time. But it wasn't until college and me finishing up college I realized I can do this. I have the resources in college to do this. So for a couple of college projects, I decided to do a video where I cross live action with animation. But I want the idea to be simple, so I thought, okay, how about a Sketchpad? What if cartoons came to life in the real world from a sketchbook? So that's where the idea and this whole thing came about. You know, all the resources in the first 2 Sketchpad Mayhem videos were done in college for a college project. And yeah, this was a long time coming where I always wanted to combine live action with animation. The animation I did myself with Toon Boom, but putting the effects together was used with After Effects, editing was Adobe Premiere. And yeah, this whole thing took place in the college I was in. And yeah, the whole thing was fun. It was a fun experience. I had a college professor of mine be a cameraman in some shots and helping me put this together. And me acting all this out. Yeah, I think the first one and second one took a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks each or so. Yeah, this is one of the earliest attempts of me combining live action and animation. I've tried a couple of times before, but I never had enough resources, enough software and programs and experience to do it. But by college at that time, I was like, okay, I can do this. And I did, and it came out great in my opinion. It could have gotten better, but actually it was very good for at the time. Yeah. So by the time I was done with the first one, I was assigned to do another video project, and I was like, how about I do a sequel where it's in reverse? So that's where the premise for the second one came about. Very easy. Because the college I was in also had a green screen room, and I wanted to put myself in the cartoon environment. So that's the idea for the second one coming up. Yep. All the resources came from college, the first 2 shorts. So the second one, yeah, so okay, how about I put myself in the cartoon environment since I have a green screen in the college I was in. So that's where that came about. Oh yeah, that's a little reversal effect. I was like, okay, how about he needs my help, the cartoon version of me. Yeah, this all was like back in early 2014, so it's been like 5 years. Have this monster have a hold of cartoon me and have that be the idea. I do like my performance. It's nice and hammy, but it works. Yeah, that effect, obviously, I was in a green screen area and that was just a blank background. Just a previous effect. But just the office, and here I am comically falling. I like that move. Oh, the superhero landing. I was trying to be really serious, and that's the best I could do. I want to say that monster is based on something, but I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, both of these took a couple of weeks, but it was a fun experience at the time. I mean, I finally get to do this after I've tried to figure out how to do combining live action with animation for years, ever since I started making cartoons. I'm like, how can I? But I didn't have the programs yet. I was lacking the resources, but no. I finally did with college. Some of these bits of animation effects were done in After Effects. Depends on some effects. Like some arm movements, so it was like in some other swift movements might have been from After Effects. So it's funny it's great to see different editing softwares come together for these videos. So yeah, first two were done. 5 years later, I decided to do another one. This is like after I was finishing another cartoon. I was like, I want to do another one before I get back to my show. So I was like, I haven't done a Sketchpad Mayhem video in a while, so I immediately thought of a third one. The third one is ultimately the first two shorts put together a little bit quicker, but I wanted to go back to it after 5 years since the last one. And so much has changed, and now at home I know how to put this together, and I have the software and experience and effects to do it. So I was like, okay, I think it's time I can do it at home. And with like simpler technology and effects, but I can still put it together myself. And this whole thing took me about a week to put together. That whole live action filming you see took an hour of film recording, a while to edit together, and each animation live action effect had its own like editing moment where I had to export it as its own video when I was done with just one effect shot. So it can be easier to put in while editing. And yeah, it came out great. It came out really good after so many years. Yeah, the animation's still done on Toon Boom. As for the live action animation, that was done with an editing software that had a green screen effect. Since all the animation was done in a colored background and I just keyed it out and just put it in. I love doing that bird effect. I've wanted to do that. That bird effect you see where it's squeezed out, I thought about that for a long time, even in the first two Sketchpad Mayhem ones where I should squeeze it out, but I either forgot or I decided to do it now. That whole bird squeezing into the book with a pops out effect. So I finally got to do it after so many years. So that's fun and satisfying. Yeah, some of these are like old drawings I've done, but most of it actually, if not all of it, were actually drawn for this thing, and I use that same sketchbook that you see there, used for the animation. Other characters you see were drawn in that sketchbook later on, after I did the live action recording. And there's some that I actually drawn before, or animated before, you can tell. Again, me trying to act. Yeah, me trying best with, I use the green screen behind me. Now that I have my own little green screen area. So that whole green screen thing was behind me, behind that, bed sheet on the wall. So that's how it came out to be. Yeah, I end up simplifying both stories and putting it into one because I thought that'd be a good idea for a third one. To be just me giving this another try for both stories 5 years later with what I have now in 2019. So it's fun to look back at these and also see what I've done since then. And it was entertaining. It was a fun learning experience. Oh yeah, the book closing, I used a tape and I tried to cover the tape with some animation movements. That was a fun effect. That was fun filming, recording all three of them and doing the effect. I finally got to do it, combining live action animation, and I hope you enjoyed these videos. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the commentary. I'm Sergio Dominguez saying have an animated day.